The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's a true crime story captivating the nation after 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered last year. Since suspected murderer Bryan Kohberger appeared in Latah County, Idaho court on Thursday, we're learning more about the case. But there are still many unanswered questions. Why did the surviving roommates wait almost 8 hours after the murders to call 911? Why did the killer spare the life of Kaylee Gonzalez's dog? And perhaps most important, why were the lives of 2 roommates spared? We take a deep dive into those questions and more.
Well, people do different things under stress. And while it's detailed in the affidavit that she saw these things, we don't know that he saw anything. He's moving around in the dark. He's got this mask over his nose and his mouth. He's already done what he's going to do, or he's on his way to do it. He's already focused on where he's headed.
Let's start with the basics. Why would the murderer spare the lives of 2 roommates in the off-campus home? According to Kohberger's probable cause affidavit, a roommate referred to as DM says she saw a figure, quote, clad in black clothing and mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking toward her. She told authorities she was in the, quote, frozen in shock phase as the killer walked past. After that, DM locked herself in her bedroom. While appearing on Law&Crime's Sidebar podcast, legendary homicide detective Phil Waters said it's possible the murderer didn't even see DM at the time, thus sparing her life.
So he's not getting distracted with things going on around him. And remember, it's dark in there. So there's certainly, what it indicates to me is that he didn't see her. She saw him, which was certainly to her benefit.
We learned in the newly unsealed affidavit that investigators believe the murders happened between 4 and 4:25 a.m. on November 13th. But we also know a 911 call was not made until 11:58 a.m., nearly 8 hours later. Waters says it's possible DM was under a high level of stress or didn't know what happened, so she didn't react.
She locked the door and she was away from it, and she saw the guy leave. So maybe she thought at that point, he's gone. You know, I'm locked in and we're done here, not having any idea what had actually happened.
Both surviving roommates have received a lot of flack for the length it took to call 911, but it's also important to consider they could have been in a state of shock, intoxicated, or even both. In the initial days of the investigation, though, Idaho police said the 911 call would not be released as it was part of the ongoing investigation. But just days before Kohberger was arrested, Moscow Police Chief James Fry hinted that it could soon be released.
I think it'll be released when the prosecution believes that we can release that. That may be at trial. That may be before then.
Once the call is made public, we'll be sure to circle back with that information. But for now, let's take a look at the layout of the home. What's important to note is that DM's bedroom was on the 2nd floor, just feet from where Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin were stabbed to death. Speaking to Sidebar podcast host Jesse Weber before Kohberger's arrest, YouTuber and retired crime scene reconstructionist Johnny Law broke down the layout of the home.
Well, we know if you're looking at the sketch in 2B that's probably more than likely Xana's room. That's where she stayed, where Ethan probably would have been staying with her on November 13th.
That means, according to the sketch, DM was staying in room 2A at the time. She told investigators she opened her bedroom door 3 times the morning of the murders, once when she heard what she believed to be Kaylee Gonzalez's dog on the 3rd floor. Gonzalez's ex-boyfriend Jack DeCur told investigators he shared the dog named Murphy with her. According to court documents, Murphy was found unharmed in Gonzalez's room on the 3rd floor when investigators arrived. Now, some online trial watchers have since connected this with suspect Bryan Kohberger's vegan diet. As Law&Crime has reported, the Latah County Jail is working to accommodate Kohberger's vegan diet, which is known widely as a lifestyle choice made by animal activists. So could the murderer's love of animals have kept Murphy safe? According to roommate DM, around the same time that she heard noises from the dog, she heard Gonzalez say something to the effect of, quote, "There's someone here." According to the affidavit, nearby security camera footage picks up repeated sounds of a dog barking at about 4:17 a.m. After that, Diem says she heard a male voice say something like, quote, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," to who she believed was Kernodle. The next time Diem opened her door, she saw the suspect, who she described as a man with bushy eyebrows. Since his arrest, many have noted Kohberger's eyebrows, saying they matched Diem's description of the murder suspect. It's important to note, though, Kohberger is suspected of the murderers but has not yet been convicted of the crime, nor has he pleaded guilty. And while the release of the affidavit finally gives us the surviving roommate's perspective from the night of the murders, it's not the first time we're hearing from them. Only identified through the initials DM and BF in the affidavit, surviving roommates Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk spoke out at a memorial service for the victims prior to Kohberger's arrest. A pastor read letters from both Mortensen and Funk.
To my 4 best friends who deserve to live a long, happy life, my life was greatly impacted to have known these 4 beautiful people. My people who changed my life in so many ways and made me so happy.
Though an arrest has been made and the affidavit released, there are still many unanswered questions in this high-profile case. Was there a motive in the quadruple slaying? Did the suspect know any of the victims? For now, though, Kohberger is due back in Latah County Court on January 12th. Law&Crime Network will bring you the latest developments from that hearing next week. Reporting for Law&Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.